Hey there, welcome back to the Daily. This is Adriana. Really wonderful to be back here with you today. I have changed my position in the room because why not? Figured we would shake it up a little bit. I feel like at some point you're probably going to see every single angle of our meditation space here. So why not start now? Here's a different position of the room. So here we are practicing acceptance for the month of June. And I actually heard from a community member recently that it's been really helpful to have practices that are a bit more spacious, a bit more open, a bit more spacious, a bit more simple, particularly at this moment in time when, I think, for many of us, we are in the gradual stages of coming out of quarantine, maybe still kind of feeling a little bit claustrophobic or cramped in. I know that, if you're living in the States at least, this is it's a very ripe time. It feels like a moment that's full of a lot of urgent potential. And so perhaps space, just having some space to be with ourselves, to be with what is feeling really nice in the midst of all of this. So I'm going to keep today's practice a little bit more open, a little bit more spacious. On that note, I always appreciate when I hear from you what is useful, what's helpful. So we're going to keep it pretty spacious and really kind of just land in the heart right off the bat. So I won't give too much preface, too much prologue here. We're just going to take some time to really get into the body and land in the heart. And we'll keep it spacious and open from there. Just resting here, whatever and wherever this happens to be today. So wherever you happen to be, as always, just taking a moment to decide on our seat. Feet flat on the ground. It's making contact with this representation of earth here. Having a bit of trust or confidence that the earth will hold us. And then, as always, taking a moment to decide on our gaze. So eyes open or eyes closed. And if we're practicing with eyes open, it's letting the gaze be hazy, unfocused, taking in the shapes, the colors of the periphery, without necessarily looking at anything in particular. And if we're practicing with eyes closed, as always, seeing if we can keep this sense of being alert, uplifted. And then taking just a few moments, as always, to open practice by opening our senses. Just finding our vantage point here in space. Getting acquainted to the space as it presents today. Turning the attention over to sound. Receiving the sounds of the room that we're in. Maybe noticing the sounds that are nearby, close, present. Maybe even extending our attention outwards to incorporate some of the sounds that are further away, a bit more distant, not much of anything. And keeping this open awareness of sound, and shifting the attention to touch. And so really landing here in the body, and feeling the base of the body, and where we meet the floor, the chair, Maybe even tapping into this sense of stability that exists here. The feeling of being held up, supported by this representation of Earth. Feeling the texture of clothing against the skin. Temperature of air around us, between us. And dropping into the feet. Texture, temperature, feeling where the feet make contact. Tracing the attention across the shin bones. Circling the kneecaps. Grazing through the thighs. Landing in the hips. Feeling where the sit bones meet the chair, the cushion. Moving the attention to the belly, the chest. It's beginning to establish contact with the body, breathing. So as always, very little effort needed here. It's bringing a sense of interest to the way the breath moves by its own accord. Just allowing our attention to trace the breath as it vacillates in the body. Tip of the nose, back of the throat, belly. It's following this movement of breath and continuing into practice. It's using that singular instruction that as our attention wanders, as it naturally will, just noticing when we've left our breathing, acknowledging what captures our attention, and then gently, firmly coming back to the breath in the body. So as we settle into practice together, I want to invite us, if this feels honest for you, to just land our attention here in the heart, locating the space in the body that's the most representative of heart for you. Just feeling into this space. And without changing or manipulating the breath at all, just allowing ourselves to breathe from this space in the body. Do you notice a slight difference? Maybe a slight distinction? Maybe not, that's okay too. It's offering this option, this suggestion, to just land our attention here and breathe from the space of heart. And just notice what that's like. And of course, in the moments that we find ourselves drifting, totally lost at sea, no big deal. In that moment of recognition, just acknowledging where we've landed and ushering the attention back. Again, feeling into this heart space and breathing from here. So as always, just a bit of an encouragement, a bit of a reminder that it isn't so much what we're doing in practice as much as how we're doing it. So again, in those moments that we find we are entirely hijacked by thought, emotion, impulse, physical sensation, no big deal at all. It's taking a moment to acknowledge where we've landed, and with a sense of gentleness, a sense of homecoming even, bringing the attention back. Resting here in this heart space, feeling into this space in the body, and feeling the breath move from here. So again, whatever happens to be arising for us, we're just giving it some space without needing to futz or fiddle or figure it out, without needing to jump in and participate. We're just bearing witness, acknowledging in a very gentle way. And continuing to collect ourselves, relocating ourselves here in space, feeling the shape of the body, the vacillation of breath, maybe even landing back in this heart space here, feeling the breath move from here. This is it. Just this. And in our final few moments of practice together, I'm just taking the opportunity to reconnect to intention. Why yes? Why make the effort? Why practice? Why today? And closing out with a little bit of sweetness, maybe just a hand on the heart, offering ourselves some thanks for making the space, working with, accepting whatever arises. And then as you're ready, just allowing formal practice to drop and coming back in together at your own pace, no rush. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for practice. Thank you for being here. I hope it was useful. I hope practice was useful today. I'm of the mind it's never not useful, but I hope that for you it's useful. Yeah, have a beautiful rest of your day. We'll see you back here tomorrow.